Welcome. My name is Rama, and I would like to share with you a guide to thrive during eclipse season. So, this is going to be a brief video that you can apply to your life no matter what eclipse season you're in. It's going to help you across the board. So, if you don't already know, astrologically, when we're working with eclipses, we have what some astrologers would term as the dragon's head and the dragon's tail, and they're always opposing one another, meaning that they're opposite one another on this astrological wheel that moves through time and space. And the dragon's head is the collective dharmic duty. It is what we're being called to rise up into. And it is our curriculum. It is where we learn to fly by falling. So it's very uncomfortable, very awkward. It pushes us out of our comfort zone. The dragon's tail, on the other hand, is our karmic work. It is the past. It is our gifts and talents from this lifetime, from other lifetimes. It's where we tend to get stuck because it's cozy and it's comfortable. And when we go through eclipse season, when we have a solar eclipse, that is when the sun and the moon meet up in a new moon, so they're conjunct, and either the south node or the north node are conjunct the sun and the moon. And that's what makes a solar eclipse. What makes a lunar eclipse is where the moon opposes the sun. So they're across the wheel from one another. They're in opposite signs. And the north or south node conjuncts the sun or moon. So it can be in either. There's like an opposition happening, because remember, they're opposing as well. But there's a conjunction happening between sun and moon and the north and the south node. So again, the north node is like the dragon's head. The south node is like the dragon's tail. And eclipses move through the signs. They work as a unit, and they move in about 18.5-year cycles. And so what gets initiated in one eclipse cycle is like a thread that gets woven into our lives in this tapestry that we circle in and out of. And it's really fascinating to start to watch the cycle of eclipses and to take note of what you're being called to, where you're being pushed to go beyond your comfort zone, and what is being cleared karmically, like what is ready to leave. A lot of eclipses where the south node is conjunct either the sun or the moon, there's a big departing sensation. Typically speaking, new moon eclipses, solar eclipses, tend to be more about new beginnings, and full moon eclipses tend to be about completion, about endings of cycles. Now, that's not always true. There's a lot of different ways the energies can present themselves. And the thing to note about eclipses in general is that these are wild card periods. They're opportunities where we can really jump forward. We can take quantum leaps in our lives. They're very exciting. Some astrologers will say that once an eclipse comes through, the energy can last for like up to 6 months. But really, when we trace the cycles, the energy lasts much longer. So I find it hard to kind of bookend the frequency of the eclipse portal, but the way that I like to gauge it is from, let's say we have a new moon eclipse and then a full moon eclipse. I say that from the prior full moon until the next new moon is the eclipse portal. That's generally how I refer to it. So it's a period of time that spans about like 8 weeks. And eclipses they tend to mark major births and deaths in our life. other monumental beginnings and endings. Vast, unexpected shifts come through in eclipse portals, things that we never saw coming. With all eclipses, there's some sort of ending and there's some sort of fresh new beginning. As I said, a lunar eclipse is more focused on endings traditionally, emotions, and the revelation of what the true character is, while a solar eclipse is more focused on new beginnings, bright possibility, and hope. Eclipses are all about asking us to be fully present, vigilant, and aware in our lives. It is a time to really walk with compassion, to be grounded, to tune into our local communities, to learn how to trust our gut instincts. It is best to not make dramatic actions on an eclipse, although sometimes we have to, So again, this is a guide and I'm giving you some pointers, but with any eclipses, there's always the opportunity where you're going to be doing the exact opposite of what you would think you should be doing. So sometimes we have to make very major decisions on an eclipse portal. Eclipses, as I mentioned, they move in series, and it's like they're dispersing this time-coded string of pearls, time-coded pearls of wisdom that are delivered throughout time and space. And they're very beautiful, they're very elegant, but they feel very erratic as well. During the actual time of an eclipse, like the actual potent window when it's happening, it's really good to be meditating, to be near water. And the teachings of Kundalini Yoga, which is one of the traditions I work with in my practice and in my offerings, Yogi Bhajan, who brought this lineage from the east to the west, would speak about how always to be in a body of water during the exact alignment of the eclipse, and definitely to be in meditation. And when we look around the world to a lot of indigenous cultures and what they would do during an eclipse, quite often they would be like indoors of some kind, like even if it was in some sort of natural made structure, they would be surrounded, protected, and in some form of ceremony, some form of spiritual practice. So that can be a really beautiful way to mark the eclipse time. So how to thrive during these eclipses. I want to share some practices that I utilize, that I've noticed over the number of years of really tracking eclipses, what helps me and what helps people that I work with as well. A daily practice of some kind is non-negotiable on Earth now. So if you're watching this video and you're interested on how to get started on a daily practice, I have some other YouTube videos available that can help you with that. You can always send me an email and I can point you to them if you feel a little lost. For 9 minutes a day, you can have a very efficient practice that will not only keep you resilient, but keep you really tuned into your own clarity of consciousness, which is so important in these times. So for beginners, I recommend something as simple as 3 minutes of ego eradicator every day, 3 minutes of cat-cow, and 3 minutes of the addiction meditation. And I have all of these available on my YouTube channel, so you can check out them there. There's so many other meditations I have available, and you can find really anything, online anymore. So if you're not drawn to things I've offered, there's a lot out there, and I would encourage you to really check it out and see what you are drawn to. Also, understanding the specific astrological energetics of each eclipse portal can be useful as well. But again, my favorite Kundalini practices are ego eradicator, fists of anger, cat cow, the addiction meditation, Ganapati Kriya, and plain mantra continuously. Some of my favorite mantras to play are the miracle mantra, which is Dana Dana, Ardas Beyi, Gobinde Mukande, and Antanasifati. And I also have like playlists that I provide people through my Patreon page. I have a lot of different ways where I can help support you, so feel free to like send me an email if you have questions. Now, during an eclipse, self-care is the most important thing. It's very essential during these times, and so I really recommend like getting good sleep. You know, as I'm recording this video, we're in the middle of an eclipse season, and the eclipse was exact early this morning, and my daughter was like not sleeping well, which meant I wasn't sleeping well. And so I took a nap today. Like, it's really, really important to slow down during an eclipse portal, because some days will feel very stretched out, and then some days are gonna go like super fast. Like the energy's gonna move. It's gonna feel like 120 miles a minute. And so, you know, take advantage of getting rest when you can. You wanna stay really hydrated, drink extra water. Long hot baths are really good. Also, cold showers are important. And that's a technology in Kundalini Yoga, which I'm a big fan of, cold showers. So there's a whole practice called Ishan, and I'm happy to share that with you as well if you want more information. I also have it on my blog, on my website, so you can search cold showers and find a whole write-up about it. One thing I like to do is take really hot baths, and I put a space heater in my bathroom, and I make it really hot, and then I go from like a really cold shower to a hot bath, and I go back and forth a number of times, and I love to do that as a form of self-care. Adaptogens and nourishing herbal infusions are really good. So adaptogens like Tulsi basil, holy basil, I love. Reishi is a beautiful adaptogen and an herb of bliss, a mushroom of bliss. Oat straw is a wonderful herb that you can make a nourishing herbal infusion with, and I love, love, love oat straw. In addition, there's other great herbs, and the herbalist Susan Weed has a whole bunch of amazing YouTube videos to teach you how to make nourishing herbal infusions. And she talks about the main herbs for those, which generally speaking are oat straw, nettle, red raspberry, red clover blossoms, linden flowers, also really good. And I like all of those. So those can be really good. Working with your stone allies, like whatever those are, whatever stones you're intuitively called to work with. Like, I have these beautiful 2 pieces of ocean jasper, and ocean jasper is an adaptogenic stone, and they sit next to my bedside. And like during eclipse season, quite often I tend to lay down, and like I have one in each hand, and I hold them, and then I put my eye pillow on and like tuck myself in, and I just really allow myself to calm down, let my nervous system calm down and rest and restore. And sometimes you might find, like, depending on where the eclipse is hitting your chart, because it can at times feel very, very electrical, almost like a Uranus transit, which Uranus is a very electrical planet that gives us surges of energy. And so sometimes eclipses will feel like that too, and you can feel like you're having heart palpitations, or you're just like, you've got all this anxiety and you don't know what to do with it. And that's when you really want to apply some of these tools to calm down, to settle down, to slow down. Going outside and taking off your shoes and socks, even if it's in the middle of winter, and putting your feet in the earth, putting the palms of your hands to the earth. Speak to the earth. The earth knows you. She knows your name. She knows your hopes, your dreams, your fears. And eclipse season can be a really beautiful time to just connect with Mother Earth and say, hey, thank you so much for having my back, and I love you, and I'm so grateful to be here on this planet with you, and this is what I want to call in my life right now, and this is what I'm afraid of, and can you help me through these times? And just being really real, straight, and speaking to the earth like you would a very close friend, and a true ally, because Mother Earth is a true ally. And this can be a really beautiful way to ground and anchor in eclipse season. Staying grounded is so important. Doing some sort of practice every day where not only are you calling in this cosmic energy, which we want to be doing, but first and foremost, you're anchoring to the earth. You're grounding to Mother Earth. And I have a lot of different sessions recorded where I guide people on those kind of journeys. So again, I'm happy to support you with those if that's something you feel called to. Carving out some time every single day to be electronically free. Put away your devices and just be human. Be human without the electronics. Enjoy some sort of craft, draw, paint, sing, play an instrument. Do something creative that inspires you. That can be a really important way to help move through these layers of great change that you're going through. Also, traveling around eclipse portals, particularly on sacred pilgrimage, can be something really beautiful to reflect upon and to help propel your life forward with the changes. I don't highly recommend traveling on the exact dates of the eclipse, because I've done that before, led pilgrimage, and it was fine, but it was intense, and I'm not sure if I will do that again, because I was like, wow, this is astrologically very challenging. But sometimes we just go with whatever it is, right? We can't freeze our lives because of certain dates. Some things we just move forward regardless. So trust your gut, trust your instincts around that as well. So just a few quick short tips, and then we'll bring this video to a close. Mentally chant victory, the word victory, 3 times, and place the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth as you do so. So you're going to close your eyes, take the tip of the tongue up to the roof of the mouth, and mentally chant victory 3 times. And you can focus the gaze at the space between the 2 eyebrows. And what this does is that the gaze is aligned with the pituitary gland, and the tip of the tongue connects with the pineal gland when it touches the roof of the mouth. So you're activating those glands to work to secrete, to support your body. And then in addition, just eyes closed, spine up tall, taking some nice long deep breaths. Three long deep breaths in a row. And this is something you can do in the car. You can chant victory in the car. You can do this anywhere. You can do this at work, on the go. Also, giving gratitude for what is working. So sometimes in eclipse portals, we see all the things that need to change and that are changing before our eyes, and it can sometimes feel very intense. So instead of bringing all of our awareness there, drop into the important small things that are working. Wow, I've got a beautiful, comfortable home. My car is driving amazingly. My children are healthy. Whatever it is, call those in and state your gratitude. I have a refrigerator full of nutrient dense food. There's so many things in our lives that are working. So bringing awareness and gratitude to that which is working. And then finally, when you're just feeling completely out of sorts and you don't know what to do, drink an entire glass of water, like a full glass. You just drink the whole thing down and it will flip the switch of your emotions. So I hope this has been healthy and helpful for you. And I'll link my website and different ways you can connect with me if you have further questions. And I wish you love and Sat Nam in your Eclipse portal.